Welcome to Trip Ups and Triumphs, the podcast where we keep it real about the setbacks, comebacks, and everything in between. Trip Ups and Triumphs is the podcast that keeps it real about the highs and lows of life. And as your host, Nathan Cabrera, I dive into raw conversations about failures, comebacks, and the lessons that turn setbacks into success. So whether you're grinding through a challenge or celebrating a win, this is the show that is here to remind you it's all a part of the journey. So expect real stories, unfiltered insights, and a few laughs along the way. Tune in and get inspired to turn your trip ups into triumphs. Hey everyone, if you've been joining us the last couple weeks, I am Nathan Cabrera, your host of Trip Ups and Triumphs. And man, you're going to get so tired of hearing me say that because, I don't know, I think it's a pretty catchy name. And so I've been telling you guys forever that I was going to have guests on. I've already recorded quite a few episodes with guests, and I'm continuing to fill my schedule with more exciting people. But this one I'm excited to interview today because it is actually someone that I know but don't know, and I'm getting to know, if it makes sense. And I've just been thankful that as time has gone on, that I've been able to repair this relationship and watch it continue to grow. And so literally a couple weeks ago, I was just thinking, I was like, man, why don't I have this person on to chat and to catch up and to be real with, because I don't know if I've ever had the time to be real with this person. So without further ado, I am his offspring. It's my dad. It's my biological father.
Welcome.
How are you doing?
You know, I'm not used to doing this, but I'll do my best.
Yeah. No,
I
it's
just
okay.
answered it.
Yeah. I don't want it to be like too interviewee, even though it is an interview. I don't typically like telling people that because it makes people nervous. And it's like, man, what is he going to say? What is he going to ask me? So really just be yourself. You know, you can continue to eat your food. It looks like you got some good, is that Puerto Rican food or is that something else?
Well, yes.
Alcapurrias. If you've never had alcapurrias, they're delicious. They're made from plátanos, right? Plátanos on the outside is what keeps it all together, and normally like ground beef and the seasonings, you know, maybe some sofrito or something.
Yeah.
Is that right? See?
Very good.
See? Yeah, I'm getting into my culture, y'all. It's been a long time coming. It's so worth it. So I encourage you all to do the same if you have some culture. Even if you're white, you got culture too, I promise. So yeah, Dad, as you know, we've had a pretty, I don't want to call it estranged because that sounds really bad, but we've had a unique relationship and that life has separated us, joined us together, separated us, joined us together again. And I think like, I don't know about you, but the last couple of years, I feel like it's been one that I've really been more open about to receiving and kind of like reaching out and extending myself to say how much like I need you. I don't know if you would agree, but you know, I try to like reach out a little bit more maybe than in the past. So, I just want to thank you for receiving me and thank you for agreeing to spend this time that we have together to do this project.
Yeah, pretty much. I just got back from Sebring in Florida.
Okay.
Just got back. Yeah.
And what were you doing
So yeah,
at Sebrinks?
I went over there celebrate mother-in-law birthday.
Okay.
She lives up, yes, and about 3 hours
Nice, nice.
from where I'm at. I'm gonna say where I'm at. Somewhere in Florida.
Yeah. Florida's pretty
That's where.
big.
Yeah. But yeah, a little tired, but I could
Mhm.
do this.
Yeah.
I'm free to whatever questions you gotta ask me. I'm more than welcome to the world. Whatever it is, not
Now,
ashamed of anything. And
I wanted to make this as real and raw as possible, unfiltered as possible, and just, you know, share my heart. And then hopefully you'll be able to share yours. And we can come into some what I'll call middle ground, a better understanding of us. And then this will be a great opportunity for you too to ask me questions maybe that you're wondering about, like me, or like what's going on in my world or my life, and you know maybe you know your your thoughts and whatnot. So, but all is good. What's that?
kind of follow your way already. I know about you enough, so
Yeah.
pretty good.
I'm pretty public with my life. I don't really hide too much, which I don't know. Like for some people, it could be a good or bad thing, but for me, it's just it is what it is. It's been my life. But yeah, just kind of I've always wondered. You know, I mentioned a lot that my parents were very young. People when I was growing up as a kid, they always thought my mom was my sister. because she was a teenager herself. And then, I sprouted up really, big pretty quickly when I was young. So I was always like, looked like I was close to her age. I mean, I was, like 14, less than 14 years. So that's one thing. But, the people always comment like, oh, your parents um, are so young. But what was going on in that time? Like, how did you guys get together? Like, obviously, we know what happened to make a baby, but like, if we put it into perspective, if I had a 14-year-old and I had a 16-year-old, I would be like, I would be upset if my teenage daughter came home and told me that she was pregnant. I'm not gonna lie. So what the heck was going on? Where were y'all's parents? How did y'all get together? How did y'all meet? Run me through that.
Well, first of all, it's a little different than back in the days because myself, I look at it, wow, they tell me, oh, that girl's only 13 years old. She just had a kid. I said, what, 13? Oh my God. And then I sit back, I'm like, excuse my language, but
No,
I'm
you're
like, well,
good.
Nathan's my, so, I was young. When I had you, I believe I was 16. I met your mother in school, Jersey, Newark, one of the roughest city that is. I was around 15 when we met. She was 13. Come from a play, or from the hood that I come from. It was a rough one too. So about my
Take me through
parents,
that. Give people that have never, like, if they were coming to the country and, someone said, go visit Newark, New Jersey. What was it like in that era in Newark?
well, it was kind of rough. I mean, the hood that I was at, it was always fights, shootouts. I mean, it's just the whole package craziness thing. Always a good people around. I come from a big family, both sides, but my mom's side is more of well, a little more wild, I can say. Being such a big family and growing up in Jersey, crazy cousins. Well, you go with the same, you know, thing they doing. You don't know any better. I was young. I just was trying to fit in at the time. I was one of those guys that, I want to look good all the time, fly with the shoes. And yes, the I went to the wrong path. Like every kid in the hood grew up selling drugs. I was young selling drugs, but I was always play sport too at the same time. That was my dream, make it to the major league. But I had you at a young age, and that was gone. But
Killing dreams.
yes, yeah. But me meeting your mom anyway, school, the way we met. I know I was walking in the hallway. I bumped into her, knocked her book down. She cursed me out. I looked at her, laughed, kept going. And her best friend had told me already, I got my friend, one of my best friends that I wanted to meet. When she come and introduced me to your mom cursed me out again. But yeah, that was him, the knocked the book. He never said sorry or nothing. But that's how we met and started dating. My parents, I had no curfew. Your mom kind of did. Your mom did. Your mom was more strict with her parents. Your grandpas were strict. Me, I didn't have no time. My parents were separated, and pretty much I was doing whatever I wanted, and then hanging out with the wrong crowd. So you go to that route that you think you know everything. When your grandmother took a job in Baltimore, Maryland, back in '91, she got accepted, so she was moving. Your mom got pregnant from you. When I found out, we didn't know what to do. I said, "Well, she can't take you away. I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave without you." So I took her. I ran away with her. At that age, we don't know any better. But I'm thinking I'm a man because I make money. So I'm thinking, oh, I could take care of her and the baby. We okay? Oh, your grandmother, I would have probation at the time. So your grandma gave a complaint to my probation, trying to mess me up. So I just decided to, you know what? I think it's best to talk to her and let her know what's going on and why you left the house. So we met up with your grandma, told her, okay, she's pregnant. She gave the whole speech out that you a baby having a baby or blah. I pull out not money. I put it on the table. What are you talking about? I can take care of her. I make money. I don't want your drug money. That's all drug money. I said, but it's still, I could still take care of her, even if it's dirty money or not. So she wanted me to meet your grandpa. And to me, that was a no-no. I didn't want to meet him. He was a big dude. Right? Your grandpa was a big dude. So I was a little intimidated. And your mom was like, please just talk to him. You might can come with us and move with us. But I'm not moving to no Maryland. I got my family out here. I'm not doing that. So anyway, I spoke to your grandpa. And yeah, he told me off, cleaned up in me. But then asked me, if you're gonna be with my daughter, we moving to Maryland. If you don't mind, talk to your parents, they let you come with us, we take you. I was shocked. I said, wow. So me thinking, I'm a big man, I wanna be responsible. She's having my baby, I wanna be there for my baby. I spoke to my parents. Even though my parents were divorced, they still live in the same building. My mom was in the second floor, my dad in the first floor. My dad, one time when I was like 14, he had threw me out and I just packed my stuff and went to the second floor with my mom. But everybody spoke and my parents let me go, went to my probation, and my probation said, okay, that's a good idea to leave the city. And when they moved to Maryland, I helped them move, but I came back. And then when I saw where it was at the time it was Paris Point. And there's nothing, excuse me, no racism all here or nothing, but there was a lot of rednecks and white people. And it was different for me because I grew up, Hispanics, Latinos and black people. So it was too quiet and I didn't want to move. I was like, man, I can't come over here. It's like, please. So I went back 2 weeks later. They came and got me and I just miss your mom so much. And I was like, you know what? I'm coming with you. We moved. So I moved and I stayed with your grandparents until we had you. And you was probably like 2. When you was 2 years old, something like that. One of us had to finish school in school. So your mom was going to school. On the daytime, I was going for my GED. But then I got tired of staying there with your grandmother because, sorry, Gina.
Not these, not not the easiest person to live with.
Yes, it is what it is what it is. But yeah, I left. I told your mom I need to go back to Jersey. Let me go over there and get a job, work. We see each other, but you have to finish school. Somebody got to finish school. So she agreed. I left, found a job, but she couldn't take it. I don't want to be here with my grand. I want to be over there with you. So I was missing her too. So yes, and we were staying at my mom's. I think I was about 17, probably still 17, 18. And we stayed with my mom a couple of months. And then I got my own place with her. We got our own place. We were so young. And to be honest, I ain't not bragging or anything, but the time that we were living together before I went to prison, we was good. I had a job. Yes, I was still hustling, but it was more like in the side. But I always worked as well. And we was doing good with our own place. We pay our own bills. We take care of you. It was good. My brother got in a situation, bad situation, which they came and shot my place when me and your mom was staying and you. Lucky at that time she was visiting your grandmother in Maryland. And they came around my place and shut it up. A friend of mine got shut up. My uncle, rest in peace, got shot. And another girl got shut up. So that right there got me scared because of you guys, well, you, it's only you still. So we moved. At first we moved to a different place. Didn't want to tell nobody where we was at. And that's when we got pregnant with Ethan. And when Ethan was born, it was still so much stuff going around that I told your mom, well, your mother's gonna have her dream come true. You don't have to leave and come up there with her. So
Yeah.
we moved back
Now,
to Maryland.
you moved back to Baltimore because there were so many issues when you were in Newark?
I think I had you guys in danger. With the beef that my brother had and me being those brother and I'm hustling, it was too many shootouts. So, that right there got me scared. And that's the reason I went back with your grandma. And I lasted
What's that?
before I lasted probably like 5 months, 4 or 5
Mhm.
months before I went to. And that's what
Wow.
happened, your grandma, because I believe you know this already. When she just called the police on me and told her, you know, that I had warrants in Jersey, which I had.
Hmm.
And they got me, they found me with a knife in the car and drugs. And I never thought I was going to do so many years just for a sign like that, but I already had a record.
Now, what was the record for before? Like you had mentioned that you were already in probation like years prior,
I
and
saw,
you were young. Assault.
I saw with a machete on a couple of guys
Yeah.
disrespecting your mom, disrespecting me, trying to disrespect your mom, but that's disrespecting me. And just because it was like eight of them. So like, okay, hold up. So I went to the car, took a machete, and
Yeah. Wow.
I'm not gonna lie, drunk. I was bad. I'm always been the good man, humble, because I am, but I was a badass too. I take care was mine, I protect what's mine, and I
Yeah.
believe a lot of people that knows me know.
I try
I
to think
go,
about like how different life would have been had I been raised in Newark, or you know, uh they say like the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, that saying. Like there's still, I'm sure, some commonalities as far as like character, demeanor. Like I see that, like when I see you, like the good parts of you, the time that we've chatted and shared, I'm like, that's so weird. I do that, or I do this, or I think this way. It comes from, you, or, like my mom or whatever. But, you know, I am so, I'm so not a fighter. This is so funny. So like when I've like told people like, hey, this is my dad, or I remember like being in school, like you would send me, letters from prison. Like you would write me letters, but you would also send me a picture. So like that reminded me of like what you looked like. And I remember like girls saying, "Oh my god, look at your dad! He's so cute. He's so this and that." And he's like, "That's your dad? Like he's got tough muscles. He's got tattoos. Like that's not your dad." Or like they hear your voice and all these different things, and people are like, that
yeah,
can't be your dad, because I'm so, I grew up in Baltimore, but it was also like it was the county, right? Like, and back then it was like more chill. I think it's rougher now around here in the area. It's changed a lot. It's tougher. There's a lot of drug dealing around here now. Like you probably would be shocked. Like well, your former self would be shocked. Like the '90s you would be shocked to know that the future of this area is what it is now. So I don't know. It's just so funny because I'm just like I'm gentle.
everything's happening. Because even if we would have stayed in Jersey and all of that stuff would have happened, even me that I was working and still dealing, selling drugs, what I mean, we were still kind of street. Like I still be like that, Like I can't let, when you was two, you could have been 10 years old and you'd be like, Papi, I'm going outside to play. No, I'm coming with you. Because I'm the type of
Hmm.
parent I can't my kids go by themselves alone doing anything, man. Because I already lived that and went through all of that. And right now I'm doing my best, because that's been my goal. I want to be there for all my kids. We lost
Yeah.
time. And I know that when I went to prison was 2000, 96,
Hmm.
96. Together, I was out in 2001 for 3 months. 2001 or 2000, one of those. I know I didn't last too long, which I went back in and didn't know for altogether I had the 10 years, which when I came home in 2005 or 6, together at that time, that was 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay. But after that, that's why I left Newark. I went back to Baltimore. I was, to mom, I find out the situation. I didn't find everything because your mom and I can understand her. She knew me and she knew how I was. You telling me something like that, I'm not talking to nobody. I'm gonna come up there and I'm gonna handle my business. That was my mentality back then. The same way the situation that she was going through. And I used to ask her, I know you're going through something you don't want to tell me. Like, I understand you probably don't want to get me, in trouble. but you need to open up and talk to me,
Yeah,
before things happen, because we spoke, but she never
sure.
wanted to tell.
Yeah.
But
And folks, what you're hearing is, maybe leading up to my mom's eventual passing. And if you missed out on the previous episodes on what happened, please take a look back at those to figure out or hear a little bit more about those details. But yeah, so you spent a lot of time in my childhood locked up.
it was 5 when I left, and when I came home, the first time I think it was like 13, and then I went back in. Then I went back in, and the
Yeah.
last time I came out, moved back to '06. That's when I went back to Maryland. And your mom was actually the one that picked me up. And literally, I took a book bag, a backpack, and left everything behind. And I left with her that day. I was going through a breakup already, so I didn't want to be there. So I was like, you know what? Let's go. I'll be over there with my kids. Man, I need time with my kids. And I stayed with your mom. And when she was staying there with, uh, you could probably scratch the name there. But yeah, we stayed there 30 days until I don't know what got into her because she goes crazy and she kicked me out nowhere.
Now
So I had no other choice.
this was when she was with or Gigi's father.
No, let.
Really? You were around then?
That's when the last time I came home. Remember? Yeah, I don't think you remember when the last time I came back, and then I got with Gretchen and stuff.
You were staying at my house?
I stayed there like for 30 days.
Wow.
Yes, I remember. Oh, you used to
So
stay sometimes.
okay. Yeah, but still,
You was
like
staying. That's at the beginning. Remember that your mom started telling me about him,
right, right,
and
right.
she a little bit because she messed up my hair a little bit.
Sure.
With first, I'm like, we had a meeting,
Mhm.
your grandparents, Frank, me, and everything. And I kind of got out of hand, and I was
Well,
asking you,
that
wasn't
was
it
after her death, wasn't it? That one was
right?
after her death. Yeah.
Yeah, because I came up there November.
Right, right, right. But you were staying at my house on Dunbar?
Yeah, for 30
Where were you
days.
sleeping at?
I was sleeping in the sofa for the meantime.
See, that's what
But
and the only reason what's that?
most of the time, I used to leave too and stay with Gretchen.
Oh,
But I was
okay.
there. Remember, she had the basement. That happened?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
Gigi used to be play wrestling with Ethan upstairs.
Yep. It's still just so
Ethan.
crazy to me because like I actually talk in a previous episode about like memory loss. And there's a lot of times
Yeah.
where there's certain things that you should remember. Like you don't forget, but there are a lot of parts of my life, especially my childhood, and that's much older, right? Like I'm not 5 years old or even 3 years old, and I remember random things. But to not remember like that you were living in the house then, that's just crazy. Because I do remember like in the early 2000s when you first got out of prison that one time, we lived on Liberty Parkway, and I remember you coming back and you stayed there for a little bit. And that was when my mom was with one of my sister's fathers, and
Yes.
they were in the other room, and that was always like, man, like, that's why I always tell people like, would you ever be friends with an ex, or do you guys hang out, or whatever? And I'm like, yeah, why? What's the big deal? And they're like, oh, I would never. And I was like, my family's been doing it my whole life. Like it was just what you did. Like all the parties, you got baby mama 1, 2, and 3. They're all at the same party, and they're all reminiscing or cussing the man out. It was just normal. It's just everybody's one big, happy family. Like it's just like once you're together and you have kids involved, like, you kind of, that I don't want to say that love doesn't go away, but that connection really, like, you're connected in some capacity. So it just, to me, it always made sense. Like it was just never like, oh my God, that's crazy.
I blame myself for a lot of things because I wasn't there. You know, when your mom and I were together before I went to prison and before we moved back with your grandma when we left Jersey, we was always good. We was normal. We was good. No situation. You was always spoiled. You had everything. Everything was good. Now, when we moved and I went to prison, it changed because now she is by herself too, and she had a struggle and yes, she wins. I know she had told me she started dancing, and yeah,
Did you
she
guys
started
ever, like, talk about that? Like, why she went to do that or how she started that? Did she just one day say, like, "I needed
my
money,"
pride.
and
Until today, even to today, I think and I still regret for things that I ain't said to her because I should have said a lot of things to her, how I felt, because I don't know if she used to do things trying to you know, like for us to get back, you know. But me with my pride was in the way. But that's the first thing I told her. I gotta do a lot of years. Do your life. Just take care of the kids, be there for the kids, and do your life. Don't fall in love. Don't mess with anybody I know, and don't get pregnant. And when I'm out and we could work it out, we get together, we do it again because we already got 2 kids. But she got pregnant, fell in love, had a baby, and that really hurt me. That right there crushed me. And she hid it. She hid it from me. She hid it from me for a long time till somebody came and visit me. That person visited me and told me, I said, "Oh my God, you didn't know that she had a baby?" I'm like, no, because she started coming to visit me right before I was coming home. But before, man, we were good. We was good when we was living together. Everything got
yeah,
out of hand. I went to prison. Everything was different. And the second time I came home, it was a lot different because even when they let me out, I was happy because I still had 2 more years to do, but they threw it out and let me out. And when I called, Ethan answered the phone, and then he called mom, and then we spoke, and she's like, "Oh, catch the bus, come here." When I got there, I'm with you guys. I don't even know if you was. I think it was Ethan. She comes with 2 big black guys, and I'm like, who are those? Oh, they're my bodyguards. Like she had literally had bodyguards with her. Your mom blew up. She kind of blew up, and she had a lot of haters on her, you know. And I always talk to her, and let her know, well, you already know the game. And plus, I taught you a lot. Even with that situation that happened, I even told her about her circle. I'm like, be careful with your circle. They not who they think they are. So I'm talking about do that, send the hit. That guy.
mhm,
Yes, that
yeah,
guy. But she never told me the whole situation of what happened. Pretty much got an idea of what happened. But like I said anyway, not to take you out. But yes, everything changed when I left. The
right.
second time I came home, like I said, she came and got me, and I went to Maryland and left. I spent 30 days before she got mad again. And I got my place with the ex-wife and moved out, let her know. And after that, what happened, I look at it like, well, everything happens the way it happened. The way it happens is just crazy because she ended up in Jersey one night, told me to come with her, leave, and I left, stayed with her 30 days, but then I got my place, got married. I was good, situated. And then that happens. It's like God was getting me ready as well. I see it, it's getting me ready because I was like, what coincidence that I just came home and left everything in Jersey, moved to Maryland, with my kids, and that happens. But I was good, which I had custody of you guys. I had Ethan staying with me, and I understood at the time I was a little upset. Yes, I ain't gonna lie. I want to spend time. Cool. I wanted all that, but I think you had like a year left or 2 years left in school, in high school, that you had asked me, well, let me stay a friend, so I could finish the school over there. That's the school I've been going to. And I decided, time went by, and I can't say nothing but good things about Frank. He's a good person, his family, more respect. And I really thank, you know, for being there for you too.
Yeah,
It's bad and it hurts that I wasn't there. I couldn't do anything, to prevent it or at least be there, console you, hug you, or whatever it was. At first, I didn't know. I find out later, and not all the way like it was. But yeah, I had left you when you was 5. It was just born.
yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, just by like a month. But when I came home and everything, it was like I never left because he was with me like I was always there. And I guess I look at like him seeing his brother, his little brother, dad coming to get him and everything. I guess it was dad, like he wanted. But yes, I mean, I know I probably took you south, west, east, but you go ask me any question that you want to know, and I can tell you. Yeah.
Yeah, no, this
So
is good. This is exactly what I wanted and was hoping for, and that was to hear all of those details. I don't know if you can hear my dog barking, but if I
yeah, I
pause,
do.
that's why. She's going nuts. She loves attention. But yeah, so much has like gone on. You know, you're going through things in your life, and you know, seemed like time stood still. And for me, time stood still a little bit differently. You know, I recall, you know, the events, and I love hearing your perspective and your end of what happened because, you know, I was so young, so you know, I was exposed to whatever I saw things, but I didn't really know everything, right? Because you know, think in your shoes or my mom's shoes, you were trying to hide things or trying to protect and keep, you know, kids protected while you were still into what you were doing. And what I've noticed is like it's really hard to it's hard to live a double life. I'll be talking about that as well in future episodes, but it's really hard to separate the two. It's almost like the I don't know, the politician or the white collar job where someone works at an office and as a CEO, a very important like position, and then they're like a different person at night. You know, it's like kind of like the Superman and Clark Kent. You know, they're a Superman there, but then they kind of be somebody else. And the other times, and eventually, you know, they get caught or they get seen and they are known. And now it's kind of the lines are blurred, and they're like, well, this is actually the person that we're dealing with. So I do recall, you know, obviously, you know, us moving, you know, back and forth a little bit, and that actually happened many a times later with my mom, I guess, to try to like move on her own, kind of like have that independency, but also, you know, there was a lot of rough times of just instability, you know, where we're moving from place to place. And I don't know if that was drug related or if it was just the fact that she was getting into new relationships and then getting on her own and getting on her own feet. Obviously, I knew she was a dancer, a stripper. You know, she would come home with money and show me, come home with all these racks. You know, proud of the money that she made, and I never knew like how she got involved with that. I just know like, you know, I think she met one of my brothers and dads there, and maybe that's how they get involved. And maybe he got into more. They got into more drugs. What were the drugs that you guys were dealing back in the 90s?
The game more when she met
Yeah,
your
the other
dad.
baby daddy.
Yeah, she bigger.
Okay.
She was
So repeat that one more time.
she was big time. She was. They was calling her the Queen of Coke in Baltimore, man.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
I seem to have like learned that obviously much later on after interviewing a couple of her peers, her friends or, you know, collaborators that she was very well known in the hood and dealing.
yo, she learned so much. Your mom grew up with me. She learned so much. She transformed and a badass. For example, one time I was having an argument with four dudes in Newark, New Jersey. I had a bat in my hand, but they got all the stuff with them. Your mom come out the car, okay, with a check on and point. And I wish y'all would touch my man. Let's go, puppy. You know what I mean? She was like that. She was body.
She
And
had a
that's what
what
I
now?
a shotgun. Well, it
That's
was my
crazy.
but she pulled it out to scare them dudes that was ready to jump me. I got upset with her afterwards. And I'm like, "Ma, okay, you did good, you know, whatever." But still don't do that because now they're gonna think, "Oh, I need you to defend me." You feel me? You know, I was young
Yeah.
too, you know. How did you get? But your mom when I went to prison and she hooked up with the other baby daddy, she went bigger. Now she's smarter. Now she's making a lot more money. By the time I came home, your mom had strip clubs. She had bars, clubs. You know, she had car wash. She accomplished a lot. You know, on that part. You know, and she had a lot of females working. Look, that's what she had working for, number of females. You know, street club, whatever. You know, and then she
So
flew us
were these ladies that were working for her, were they dealing as well? Were they
for her.
okay. And what were they doing? Were they doing anything other than drugs?
dancing too. They were
Mhm.
strip. Some of them were strippers. Some of them, bartenders. She had girls everywhere
Underneath her.
underneath her.
Yeah. Some people might have mentioned too as well, like, I guess paid sex, like escorting. Is that a thing too?
The girls for that, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that always like, that kinda like wowed me in a sense of that there were so many parts to this. What I will say, like, organized
And
business,
yeah,
you know? Do you think, like, why did she keep growing, and why was that maybe a priority? Do you think, like, she couldn't settle for less? Like, obviously, we might not ever know, but, like, was there
that's like
what was the driving motivation to keep doing more and more of the hustling? Like, because if she was already successful, like, some people stop, you know?
more money. It's money. Money blinds you at time. And then once you on that level and you're making money, and then you got people under you, and you feel powerful. You like that when you don't understand. You feel good about yourself. I got these people doing this for me, doing that for me. I'm making all this money. Sometimes it's hard to stop.
Yeah.
That's all you know.
I definitely, and I see it with myself with my, what I'll call, like, adrenaline addictive behavior, thankfully I never tapped into drugs, but just the rush. And I think anybody, whether you've done or participated in drugs or anything that becomes addictive or not, there's like this rush that you get, and then kind of like this position that you're in that you feel like you have to continue, or to get that same level, you have to do more. And it's really hard to get out once you're already in it. And so, like, I also heard that, like, I would see her super stressed out, or just like, man, I got to do all this, da, da, da. Like, maybe she's tired. Like, she's running, 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 like around the clock, just constantly working, busy, coordinating, hustling, and stuff. So she wasn't really around because she was just so busy. And I started to experience that more as I got older. And that's why I pulled away, and that's why I started to find other things to keep my mind occupied, or find that attention that I never really got growing up as a kid. And if we take a look back, I had mentioned to you actually a couple of years ago, and what I shared on the podcast at previous episodes is that I was abused, from like 5 years old till like 11, for years. I was abused under the roof of my grandmother's house. And, so I would like try to run away from that to get away from them. And it was hard because the same way you were saying, hey, you're not allowed to go here or there, like, my mom would be like, "Oh, you can't go over there. Why do you wanna go over to your friend's house? Why do you wanna stay the night there? We got a house here." But the house here was causing me pain, and confusion. And so that was like a mix up, you know what I'm saying? So, and then obviously, like, I shared that with you, like how important, um, or like how big of a loss it is, especially in any household, to not have the father figure there. So not having you there, you
If
go
I
ahead.
was there, that would have been happening. It wouldn't
Yeah.
be happening because you go ask anybody I've been with. I don't take nobody to my place, to my house,
Mhm.
especially mans. They don't come here. I don't care. You, my brother, my kids, okay. But not even my brother will come and leave them here by myself. You know what I mean? Or alone, and tell my lady, okay, I'll be back later. My brother's gonna be here. No, I don't do that. None of that.
Yeah. I think that's also what a lot of folks that I talked to about my mom's eventual murder said that they were surprised that she did, which was essentially let others know, or enough people knew where her headquarters was, which, was our house. She was dealing
Yeah.
outside the house. She had connections that knew where we lived. And that's why, like, I think a couple weeks leading up to her we were supposed to be moving. We were actually supposed to be moving somewhere else.
Yes, because she already felt what was coming. She didn't want to tell me anything, but of course, and she used to be telling me, she was like, "Oh, you don't tell me shit, nigga. Go tell the one you're with now."
Mhm.
And I'm like, "This ain't even like that. I'm trying to screw you. Like I took you alive, man. You gotta watch your circles. You slipping." And
Yeah.
your mom, motherfucker, you ain't got time to be shit.
Mhm. Yeah, no. So do you believe like the circle that she was hanging around with helped her slip, or that they just shouldn't have been
That was
trusted?
the
Like,
Yeah, that's what happened. The whole thing. The nigga that she was with, the boyfriend that she had, those people. I was telling her about them, you know?
yeah,
And she'll look at it like, and I tell her, don't look at them. Baby, I don't want you. Why? I guess I'm with somebody. We've been separated already. Ain't no hating on him. But, I look at her like a kid, man. Hey, look, young punk. And then the nigga be with him. Okay, it was Sunday. Friday, I stopped at her car wash. And I still remember she was all white. I think she had some Versace stuff. She looked good, but kind of skinny. She was losing weight. And I went, I pulled up, I went up to her and I said, look, man, what's going on? You good? Everything okay? I like, yeah, everything's good. And I was like, listen, you coming down Sunday to Iguana's Cantina at the time, have a little party, get together up there. I said, oh, yeah, I'll be there. I like, man, you okay? Talk to me. You could talk to me, tell me anything. All I know, you good. And I left. And that was the last day I saw her because she was supposed to meet up Sunday. And we waited and we called. Hey, you still coming down? Like, yeah, I'll be over there. Well, she never came. The only people I saw, it was the one I would like to have, but he was there and he came up to me and was like, hey, your baby mom got your kids in danger. I was like, what do you mean? So I took it danger. I took it like, what's she doing? You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm taking it. Like the stuff that she was doing it at the house, that anything could happen, the police could come. That's how I took it. I mean, she okay, man. My kids all right, and daddy's back up here too now, man. So I'm like, who you with? I'm like, oh, my people came down from Virginia. I'm here chilling. I said, okay. So I never took it as that because I was drinking. I was intoxicated, or better yet, I was, I was using. And 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, the other baby dads to call me and told me. And when he told me, I thought he was playing. I mean, stop playing with me. You don't play with nothing like that, man. I was like, no, I'm for real, man. She's gone, bro. And that's how I felt my knee, man. I went crazy, man. And went over there, and that's when he hit me. I was like, this. And I already knew who it was because he told me, but I didn't took it like that. And yeah, it was very upset, man.
well,
Very
so
upsetting. Those days I had to watch myself because your mom used to throw in the world with me. Everybody should fight, argue, or I'm gonna give my kids that. She used to call me every time. I was in Jersey before, and I had to come when she was with Gigi's dad too. Oh, he put a hand on me. What? I'm coming over there. Then I'm the bad one because I did well. Okay. I said, man, I ain't doing this no more. You calling me over here, and that's day you out together. You know what I'm saying? No. But
yeah, so the guy that you
yeah,
saw at
man.
the bar, he was the one that put the hit out. He wasn't the one that
Yes.
murdered. So the other story that I get is that he still denies it. That guy who put the hit out, that he had any part in it. But his baby moms, who was staying at my house, who my mom
I
was
think she
friends
was with
with,
it too.
yeah, some people feel like she messed that up, but she had stolen drugs, and the guy that put the hit out, let's just say I'll say his name, Pablo. Was it his drugs that
So
they stole, or he had drugs from someone else that he had to sell?
they stole him.
They stole from
They
him?
robbed him. Yes. A lot.
Okay.
So he thought that your mom did it and sent the people.
We're
So
setting
now
him up to get robbed.
he's sending on your mom due to his baby mother being hanging out with your mom, being with other guys. So that's driving me crazy. And now he hate your mom more and more. And when that happened, that's all he thought. Oh, okay, you know,
Yeah.
and that's different. But I don't think she had nothing to do with it. She
Yeah.
was already good. And that's what it was. Supposedly, you tell me that Shorty's sleeping in the sofa, which is in the living room. You got an AC in the window, you sleeping next to it. And if somebody will kick that AC and falls down, is right next to you. Come on, man. You're not gonna hear none of that. Downstairs, they're gonna hear it. You feel me? No, I'm gonna hear. You are there. Okay, hold up. Open the door for him. They get the AC together, put it down without making noise, like they knocked it down. And the person that went downstairs never been in the house, but knew exactly where to go and straight downstairs. If I'm that person and I'm gonna shoot you, and the other person saw me, I'm gonna shoot you too, bro. I'm not leaving no witness over here. You feel me? The guy runs, homeboy talking about, oh yeah, I went behind him trying to chase him, but they were gone. Yeah, okay, you would have been dead too, bro. So that don't match, man. Come on. That was with it. Both of them was with it. I don't
Yeah,
care what anybody said.
that's so wild to me because you know
It
what
was
you're.
black. Yeah. They maybe they wasn't supposed to go all the way like he did, you know? And once he went all the way like he did, they got all scared, and told. Because that's who told, right? Somebody told those people. I didn't told. Like I told the detective, yeah, I better catch him before I do. I'm not going to no court testifying. I'm from the street, I'm still from the hood. I got codes. I don't do that. Yeah, I catch him or I catch him. That's it.
Yeah. And there's so
But that's
many like layers to this because yeah, street code has changed over the years, like
not causes no more.
it's so different. I think like with this new generation of street
Listen,
code,
I saw you the episode last and I was cracking up because the way you said, man, I can't don't do it about me because I'm straight telling. Well, go ahead and do something, see if I don't tell right now. To any of my family, or I gotta go by street code, man. But that's your cousin. Man, I can't no. Yeah, he did it. No, I ain't with that no more. This is a new style now. So I mean I
it
still hear my code, but
yeah.
with the
I
code,
think it's totally different. Like if
but
we
not
look at history of street code and just people in gangs, it's so different now. And I don't know if that's like social media and these like new like rappers, like it's notorious. Like they call them rats. They spill the beans. Like to me, I'm just like, and also like I think how do you say like the level of, I don't want to say they're not dangerous now because I don't want anyone coming after me saying let me prove to you that I'm dangerous, but a lot of people now, they would never survive in the hustle game of 20 years ago. It just wouldn't happen. They would be made a fool. I mean, they would probably be like really abused and
yeah,
used to, they wouldn't make it.
nah, I don't.
But yeah, that always puzzled me, that what my father was referring to is the hit that eventually, happened and took place in my childhood home. The intruders came into the house by way of an AC unit, which ever since then, like that is just like one of those things that I think about, especially on the first floor. But I was taking it out. One of the gentlemen entered into the home, unlocked the door supposedly with a number of other individuals. They put a gun to a friend of my mom's head while she was asleep, supposedly did not hear anything. And I'm not going one way or the other because I was asleep myself. So I really can't say. I might not ever know, and even court records might say one thing and whatnot. But there's just so many thoughts that I have in our heads. We're all confused, right? There's so many different stories. There's so much disbelief and deceit, especially when you deal with this game. You're naturally lying or naturally just going by way of like what and there's fear involved, and now there's lives involved at this point. But the woman supposedly had a gun pointed to her head, wanting to know who was in the house. Someone went and put out the shot to my mom. My mom's in bed with her boyfriend, who happens to be the brother of the woman that's sleeping on the couch, which, by the way, her boyfriend is the man that my father saw in the club that was very angry at my mom and what had taken place, because supposedly he had been set up numerous times and drugs had been taken from his house, which the woman on the couch had taken from his house. And she said that. I have that on camera as well herself, that part. But there's a lot of confusion as to like, my mom obviously knew she was in trouble, right? Like, I think everybody agrees with that, right? I think her friends, everybody who I've talked to,
Felt it.
I
She
mean,
already knew
yeah,
something.
Frank even knew. For those of you that don't know, like Frank is like been a mentor to me. He's someone that I'm still very connected to. Also, a father figure to me, just a role model. So I'm really appreciative of him, and that's what my father was referring to. We'll have time to talk about more of that stuff, and maybe those estranged relationships as well. But basically, everybody knew in my mom's circle that something was not right the weeks leading up. Even the house, I heard that there was tires being slashed. I personally remember, I think it was one of my mom's friends, and I might have to bleep her name out just for her safety as well. Darnetta, I'm pretty sure, was sleeping on the couch one day and someone was trying to enter in by window on the side. Some people say it was my mom's boyfriend. Some people say it was someone else. But all it was that someone was on the window. She was scared. She was hit by a hammer. She was bleeding. Something was going on. And it
What?
just like one thing after another was happening at the house. People were coming to the door. One of my brothers mentioned that people were coming at the door asking for my mom, and he would tell them that she is not there. So that, to me, red flags everywhere. Another friend of hers, my mom's, mentioned that, like, hey, you're being a little bit, how do you say, you're slipping, right? Like, she talked about her inner circle as well, and she was part of that inner circle at one point. But I guess my mom had created this new circle, and people in her old circle were growing frustrated with these new folks that she felt this person didn't feel like they should be around because they were causing, there were so many, they were slipping up so poorly that people were tracing their steps back to my mom. And
Right.
so people were starting to threaten it and really get upset. So it's just really unfortunate how it played out and how, this all happened, because obviously that incident caused so much upheaval in everyone else's lives. I mean, I don't know about you. I mean, I like just thinking about the boyfriend, that woman, they're scarred. They saw my mom in her bed after she had died, bleeding to death. I don't know what the scene looked like. I'm sure I could get court records. I believe my grandfather's wife, my grandmother, was there at the cases and actually saw photos of my mom and what happened. And she was just destroyed. Just her recalling the story. I interviewed her over like 10 years ago, which is crazy how time flies. And I've been trying to get her for an interview more recently, and she hasn't been receptive yet. So hopefully she'll change her mind soon. But there's just so much going on, so many questions that I'll forever have and I won't know. And I was, just so you know about my life during that time, I was completely like in another world, and not because I was doing wrong or anything. It's just because I didn't want to be home. I knew that there was a lot of stuff going on. I knew that I didn't like the feelings that I felt. Like, I knew people were doing drugs in the basement. I knew there were strangers coming into the house, and I didn't know who they were. There was a lot of strange characters, a lot of strangers. And I think at this point I had lost a lot of trust in people because of the people that I had been around the house, right? So I'm older now. I have more of a voice. I can leave just like you did, that you felt like you can leave, you were a man. I thought I was a man too, but in some capacity, like I still relied on people, but I went about it in a different way. I wanted to go to church, or I wanted to be around friends. I wanted to focus on school and stuff. Just something that was the opposite of what I was used to and growing up around. And so just, I feel bad. Like, my heart hurts because I know that affected my mom so much. I didn't realize how the abuse from the other incident when I was 12 years old, that we didn't get into today with the officer, but from what I'm told, she was destroyed by that as well and wanted to seek revenge on him as well and get him, offed. And, um like at that point, that happened at 12, 13. I had experienced a lot of loss in my life. I lost my dad, you. I'm losing people that I thought cared for me, the officer, but had abused me. I'd already faced a lot of abuse as a child. So all these people, I was very like standoffish. I didn't trust people. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't want strangers around. I just wanted to be away from everything. So I think that really bothered my mom from what I've heard. And there was a lot of times where we got into it as well. We went to arguments, or I was quote unquote punished, but you're not going to punish me because I'm 15 years old. And so I just never wanted to be home ever. So I would leave, and then I didn't know what was going on. But I know that the night before I kissed my mom, or I told her, I love you, goodbye. And I was going to Wendy's. just to get a break and to get some food in my belly and just be out of the house. Because all I wanted to do when I was home at that point, because I was stuck at the house all the time, babysitting the kids for years while she did her thing. All I wanted to do was go to bed so I can go and do school again the next day. So I went home. It was whatever time it was, I went right to my room, put on the AC. I don't even know if I watched TV that night, but I knew that that next morning I was no good. We won't get into what happened afterwards. We'll save that for another time because I still wanted to focus more on our time together. And we're running a little bit over, and that's okay. That just means that we've been having a good conversation, and maybe we'll have to do this again too. But yeah, obviously, we'll get into that as well at another time, but I know, our relationship took a turn after my mom's death, but that's just because everyone was so emotionally charged. There was a lot of change, a lot of things happened so quickly. I definitely wanted to learn more about, with this interview, this first one with you, I definitely have to have you back, is that how the heck, like, did you make it this far? Like, even now, like, you've been through a lot. You've been through so much.
Mm.
I'm sorry you had to go through that. I'm sorry if you ever felt that I didn't love you. I definitely do. I appreciate you so much. I'm sorry that we didn't get a chance to do life together. But like you said, everything happens for a reason. But we have the opportunity now and the rest of our lives. And that's what I want to do. And that's why, like, I got to see you finally after a couple years. You did just come out again.
Home again,
How
but I
many
ain't do any
times? I believe you. I believe you this time. How many times have you been in prison in your life at this point?
3 times.
So 3 times.
Well, I'm gonna
So
say because the first time I came home for 3 months, but in reality, I escaped. It's BPRU in Greenmount Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland. It was like a space that I started going after 5 years. You started going there, and I was supposed to go home in parole February, and we in May, and I was still there, so I had the chance to go to work and never came back. And that's the reason I got caught and went back to prison. So that's the second time going to prison, but it's from the first bit. And then the third one, the second for real, it was just now. I went in 2022 and just came home. I did 3 years.
got you.
I don't complain. Before I did it, I did the crime. It's okay. Not now all the crime. But this time around, I was so good, doing good. Or I was on my own at first, but then when I got with this other woman, it was so good. And only one night, it took one night to go sideways. And that's what happened. The person was and crazy and lie about it. And I lost trial because I went to trial and still lost.
Yeah.
Choice
And
with that for me.
unfortunately, like, because you had a rap sheet, and I think that's what happens is people that have them, they don't fare very well when they're testified against.
Yeah,
And it's kind of like, oh well, you stole the cookie from the cookie jar the first time, like you definitely did it this time, so you're not,
as long as they
it's
know that I was innocent, we was good. Because if not, he would have gave me 15 years that he carried, or at least 10. He
wow.
gave me less offer. He gave me what they was offering me. He gave me way less when I was found guilty.
Hmm.
Never happened before.
Wow.
Never. So that's letting me know that I believe you, kid. I was still blessed just for the 3 years. Okay, I do the crime, but
Yeah.
it's better than 15 years.
Sure.
And I was doing good. I had my own place. I was doing good.
Yeah.
I'm drug. No, that old me is gone long time ago.
Now,
But yeah,
you kind of just said it, and there's so much more that I want to cover with you, but it's just like we
yeah,
definitely have
no,
to do this again. So hopefully, like, we do. I know it's getting late, so, and plus this is a lot to unpack. So I want our minds to appropriately uh rest and sit on these thoughts, because I'm excited, because I think there's a lot more that we can uncover and talk about later, because you and I even discussed some of, like, the things that you saw in prison. And I think that's a really good thing for people to see and learn about what happens in there. But the one question I wanted to ask before we kind of close out is, and you just said it, would you say that you left that old life behind? Are you still into drugs right now? Are you still, trapped in that mindset that you were when you were 16 years old, 15 years old?
No, that mindset, me hustling, selling drugs came out the first bit when I moved to Maryland. Put it this way, in 2006, the lifestyle of me hustling, all that stuff, that was already gone. I had got married with, well, Gretchen, which she was the only person that your mom said, if you ever gonna be with somebody else, it better be her. Because she's the only one that could be around. But since that time, I don't, that me that I have relapsed and used, yes, that part, yes. Um, I was going through something, I relapsed. It's like the same, because growing up, I had that tough love. I look for that type of love on the person that I'm gonna be with, my partner. The type of mother love that you always wanted growing up. Well, I ain't had none of that either. So I look for that on my partner. So yeah, that's why I've relapsed and I be so hurt and going through a lot of pains. And that's justifying. Well, I guess it's justifying, but yeah, it leads me to the drugs. But I get back up quick, and go away and get back, do better. I've been doing great. And I moved up into Florida now in 2016. I've been here for 9 years, so no necessary. I don't think like that. I don't think like that or nothing, man. No drugs. All I want to be
Yeah.
do now, be there for you guys, man, my kids. Do the right thing. If I had $1 million right now, I think I spray all that in the fan to everybody be good.
Yeah. And I
And
believe
that's
that. I
some.
see I see you, posting, and, like, I talk to you obviously now, and I see what you're doing with, my other siblings, and I think that is so cool to see you living that life, and not to be funny about it, but living that life out, like, you as a father, and watching you do that to my little siblings. The life that I wanted, but that I want for my kids in the future. So keep doing good. I love seeing this stage of your life now. You're getting older, obviously, so hopefully you're más tranquilo, which I really believe that you are. I just want to say I'm proud of you. I love you, and I want to thank you for this time. I do want to end this appropriately while we're on a high note. And then off the record, I'll invite you to another episode because, like I said, I think there's so much that we can cover that you have a lot to share that I believe that the viewers would love to hear more about, especially when it comes to mindset of someone that has been in prison, that has lived the street life for so long, how there is even hope or possibility to even finding stability, because that is a big thing now with those that have gone and been incarcerated for years, to find life after that and to like find security, housing, a job after that. Like, is life over, and so you do give in your own way hope to other people that are in the same boat. So thank you so much. And everybody else who's listening, thank you so much for taking the time to be here and joining us with this. There's so much that we covered today, and I'm so excited for the future installments of episodes and seasons that are up ahead. Remember to love one another. If you have a trip up, please share it with me, and let's talk about how we can get to your triumph, because we're all trying to make it out here. Everybody, I love you. Have a great night, and you take care.
Yes, sir.